everybody. Welcome to 2 Minutes and Beyond, the podcast where we review the Toy Story movies 2 minutes at a time. I'm Bianca Garcia, and this is Macy Ball.
Hello.
Hello. Our guest from last week has returned. Guest, would you like to introduce yourself again?
Hello, it is Disney Dan here, YouTuber and Toy Story fan.
Hooray, you're back.
Welcome back.
I am back. I couldn't, you left me dangling with that buff duck about to ring a doorbell, and I just needed to know what happened.
Well, lucky for you, in this episode, we're discussing
Yeah, discussing the disgusting toys and what they're up to in Sid's room. Oh my gosh.
Yes, we are discussing minutes 65 and 66 of Toy Story.
Let's do it.
Yes. So, this clip starts off with Ducky swinging back and forth until he finally swings far enough to ring the doorbell. Woody yells, "Go!" and Hand in the Box opens the door. Pump Boy lets go of the frog, and Scud chases the frog. Woody says, "All right, let's go," while some of the toys climb onto Roller Bob's skateboard and others on top of Jingle Joe. As soon as Scud is out of sight, Woody yells, "Now!" and they ride out of the room. Hannah goes to answer the door, saying, I'm coming," and is confused when she opens the door and no one is there. Scud chases the frog down the stairs and out the door, knocking Hannah over backwards in the process. Ducky grabs the frog just in time, and Hannah yells, "Scud!" as Ducky goes back into the ceiling. The light fixture reappears, and Hannah says, "Stupid dog," and shuts the door on Scud. Hannah leaves the room just as Woody and the mutant toys come riding down the stairs into the kitchen. Woody yells, "Lean back," and they all do just in time to jump through the dog door and into the bushes in the backyard. That was intense.
We've been talking a lot about the interior design of Sid's house, and I like how there's like in like the front entryway, I guess there's a like grape light fixture.
Yeah, what is the grape? What is the grape? We don't ever see the grape again. We don't see the grape before. There's just what is the I am so confused about all of everything that's going on inside Sid's house.
It just
what is the
materialized.
grapes? Like, okay, I know that so I know there's this mid-century modern interior decor trend that happened for a while, which was acrylic fruit. And so acrylic fruit, so this might just very well be and like these grapes would be the size of golf balls, each one of the grapes, an acrylic purple golf ball with like, it looks like a cherry bomb. And then they tied them all together in a layer to make these like acrylic grape things. I just saw one on TikTok the other day. So like I know what this is. Just what is it doing there? Because it just feels like it's gonna get hit by the door the minute the door opens.
Yeah. And then they've got this weird painting on the wall of this lady.
Of a horrific woman. Is it Sid's mom?
I don't know.
She's very busty.
Yes.
When I saw that, I was like, why? Why is that there?
So weird.
Super weird.
I just don't understand what's going on in this house. Hannah's room is the only room that looks kind of okay. Like it looks like a normal little girl's room, but the rest is just like, what is going on?
And they probably see Hannah and they're like, this little girl's got something going on with her. She likes pink. She likes flowers. She likes little dolls and tea sets. There's something wrong with her because they're so funky in all of their interior decorating. And they see the normalcy of Hannah and they're like, what's wrong with her?
Well, more importantly, how is she so normal? How did this happen? How did Hannah escape the trauma of this household? Like how, I mean, Hannah's just, I mean, God bless Hannah, man. She's keeping it together.
She is. She's probably in one of those situations where she was switched at birth. She probably had something go on, or her friends at school are probably like, no, that's weird. And they're just showing her like, this is how you be normal. This is the stuff you're supposed to be into.
I do also like how, they really struggled with making humans in this first movie. And so the rigging, because all these characters are 3D models and that are rigged at movement points.
Right.
And so like the elbows, the wrists, the neck, all that stuff. So all this animation's done by hand. It's all hand rigged. There wasn't motion capture. And so you can definitely see how you often hear, oh, we made Toy Story because like everything looked plastic and like articulate like toys. And so we really leaned into that when we were animating, because she's very janky in this scene. The way that she walks, the way that she moves, like it just feels like she was very quickly animated, and this scene was just thrown to render really fast. She's not very smooth. She's definitely not the focus of this movie,
Right, yeah.
Like she's walking like she's got a diaper full of poop, like she's just like a penguin. She's like this weird penguin. She just waddles.
She does kind of waddle. That is kind of sad.
And also, I think she might be nearsighted because she doesn't see a thick string hanging in front of her that has a toy attached to it, and there's a hole in her ceiling. She's definitely nearsighted. She looked out the door. She's just like, well, I guess I should be wearing glasses, and then closed the door.
Exactly. That's never made sense to me.
I feel so bad for her. That's sad. I never really thought of that. But yeah, there is a toy just hanging there and she doesn't notice it. Like, oh, hey, that's my brother's toy. No.
I also like how when Ducky like goes back up into the ceiling with the frog, he like chuckles a little bit. Like this toy is so happy to like finally get his revenge on Scud. This dog who's been like chewing on and tearing up toys.
Well, yeah, it's that, and it's not just a laugh. Need I remind the home listeners that this hunky duck is voiced by Donald, so it's just Donald Duck sound bits, and so it's Donald Duck's like mischievous, like arrogant laugh. It's all real challenging. It's all real challenging. I'd be just as angry as this dog if Donald Duck laughed at me like that.
Honestly, I think anybody would be if they heard Donald laughing at them and that smug little quacky laugh that he had. Right.
Be like, come on, Donald.
Oh gosh, you're just like, I'm getting my orange sauce ready. Come at me.
Also, what's interesting is, if we've noticed, the Sid's parents have a yellow insect light on their front porch as to not attract bugs, which I think is important. It's important to see that they are conscious of mosquitoes. Further highlighting to me that this is a Southern Californian house pretending like it's built in the Northeast.
Oh gosh. I like how when they like go under the chairs, there's like this whoosh sound.
Yeah.
Like, where is that coming from? Is there just like these
like
little metal chairs
or something?
Yeah, and then there's that close up. There's that close up of Woody like holding onto Babyface. That as they're going through the chairs, and in that close up of Babyface, you can really see the detail of the head, of the character modeling of Babyface's head. I mean, you could count the amount of strands of hair on that model. It's kind of cool. It's really cool detailing, and I'm almost sure that there's probably only 15 hair plugs that they modeled, and we're just seeing them all turned and tweaked in just different ways, so that it looks like a variety. Because we're just seeing the brown against like the pale skin. So it's probably just like a couple of plugs just moved in different ways, like how video games do grass and bushes. There's just a couple of things procedurally pointed in different directions. So I love this. Such cool detail. Sid's parents have this very interesting mid-century modern feel. It's just their house is just haunted. They're just houses cursed. They just live in a cursed house. I would love a lot of this mid-century stuff that's being thrown around in Sid's house. I would love these chairs. Ugh. Forget about it. Give me these chairs any day. Gosh, gorgeous. But not those cursed chairs. Not those cursed chairs.
Not with those cursed grapes. No.
Like, I'm surprised that the chairs didn't all have googly eyes hot glued to the back of them and they were all screaming as we zoomed by them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dang it. I want to do that to my chairs now. I'm going to go buy some googly eyes. Oh, that's great.
And then they dump out right into the bushes after they go through the dog door.
Those bushes are conveniently placed.
I feel like
yes.
maybe the dad, when he was young, wanted to be like, oh, let's spruce up the backyard. And he just did whatever because he's not a gardener. He doesn't know what he's doing. And he just put the bushes right there.
Right. Yeah. Okay. We got to tell everybody what happens in the next part of the scene, because I have to talk about it. We have to talk about what happens in the next part.
All right. So let's move on. At the 50-second mark, Woody looks through the bushes to see Buzz standing on Sid's makeshift launch pad and hears Sid talking inside the shed. Sid says, mission control, this is launch pad construction. Is the launch pad construction complete? Static noise. Roger. I'm sorry.
Oh, I wrote static noise. I forgot. I was going to tell you that it was like the static noise that like he makes with his mouth, like with the walkie-talkie.
Yeah. He makes like the walkie-talkie sound. Yeah.
So he's talking into it, and then he goes, Roger, rocket is now secure to guide wire. We are currently obtaining the ignition sticks. Countdown will commence momentarily. Stand by. Meanwhile, the frog, Ducky, and Legs slide down through a drain pipe into the yard. Woody gives them a thumbs up, and Ducky gives one back before they go into their places. Woody says, let's go, and the rest of the toys get into position. Sid yells, hey Mom, where are the matches? Oh wait, here they are. Woody runs up to Buzz, and Buzz excitedly says, Woody, great, help me out of this thing. Woody shushes him and Buzz says, what? Woody whispers, it's okay, everything's under control, and drops to the ground. Buzz says, Woody, what are you doing? And then freezes when Sid comes out of the shed.
I like how Sid is saying like, what does he say? We're currently obtaining the ignition sticks, and he's like, Mom, where are the matches?
Oh gosh, I feel like they should not have matches in the shed, especially if it's in, like you're saying, Southern California region where it gets hot.
Yeah.
And they can just ignite.
Well, they're saying, there's lots. Where does Andy move to, I guess, is the better question. Like,
right.
what terrible part of the country does Andy move from? This, okay. Well, okay. So you mean to tell me that there was accessibility from Sid's bedroom vent to the gutter system? Like, that's how ganky this house. So why did we do any of this? Just to get Roller Bob out? Roller Bob was lost to us on the first. We didn't need to save Roller Bob. This wasn't the point of the mission. Okay, like what was we overcomplicated this escape to have the shot of Ducky and Legs falling out of the gutter just completely negated all of the action we just did in the last 2 minutes.
Exactly. I also noticed, I think the bush leaves are the same like model leaves that we talked about in a previous episode, where they're also in front of Andy's house. They're like the bushes that Buzz falls into when he falls out the window. And they're the same, I'm pretty sure they're the same leaves that are in like the plastic house plant that the Green Army men like
that they hide
set up in.
Yeah. We definitely rendered one bush and just are looking at it from different angles now.
Yeah, and the leaves
Pretty
still
much.
look, I mean, part of it just could be that it's 1995 CG, but the leaves still look like plastic leaves.
Yeah, and the backyard, it looks so unpleasant. The backyard just looks so scary. And also, what is the fart catching mechanism that is like set up next to Buzz Lightyear? It's like
That's
a
what I
water
was
jug.
gonna ask.
It's a water jug with a hose and a funnel. Either Sid's into some weird beer bong stuff, he's collecting his own farts, or like this is like some kind of marijuana device that his dad has that what is going on with this fart catching bucket next to, I just don't get it. I don't understand.
I mean, I guess it's
wonky.
supposed to be like part of his launch pad, but I don't know what purpose it's supposed to serve.
Yeah. What is it supposed? None of that makes any sense to me. It's just like, I don't know. The set designer was given an objective to like make like a. Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't get the fart catcher. It's just, I just look at him, just all I see is just, this is a device to catch farts that a kid made. There's no other need for this thing.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
it doesn't make any sense.
It does not. I wonder if Hannah ever invites like whatever little friends she has. She's like, let's come watch my weird brother just be weird.
No. Hannah goes to other friends' houses. She needs to escape.
No. Yeah, she
She's like,
needs to get out of
I'm not
there.
going to introduce you to my family.
All in all, they should have just let Sid light the rocket. All right. I've thrown toys a great distance and nothing's happened to them. All right. This thing has been fully drop tested. It's a very durable toy. Just let it fire off. It's still got to hit a bush and then just fall up. Like, who cares? Like, the stakes from the perspective of a child and a toy, I guess, are high. But that's some high endurance plastic that Buzz Lightyear's made of. He's not breaking.
Well, to be fair, I mean, Sid blew up that combat Carl earlier, which also looked like it was probably made out of some, But
did he blew up Combat Carl? Here we have a projectile rocket.
Yeah, but it still like blows up in the air. That's what happens later.
Oh, with Combat, yeah. That's true. It's true.
Yeah,
but it's not like,
of course,
with Combat Carl. Didn't he put like a firecracker on it? Like actually blew him up instead of launched him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
was a different
because Buzz
thing.
Lightyear's a space ranger. We're launching him to space.
Yeah.
Right, but I guess in Woody's defense, you don't know where he's going to land. He could land 3 houses over.
And apparently he can just like pop his wings out and break the tape that's connecting him to the rocket.
This is very true.
Like, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like, why did he just do that all along?
Sid's family can't afford good duct tape.
Too. He could have escaped a long time ago, just left the rocket in Sid's room, and they could have gone through the vent and teleported somewhere else.
Yeah. Don't think too. I guess these are just 2 minutes of the movie. You just shouldn't think too much about.
Yeah.
No.
Honestly, the whole movie you just shouldn't overthink. We've been going through this movie, and in almost every single episode, there's something that we have a bone to pick with Pixar. We're just creating this long grocery list of all the questions we have.
Yeah. Well, maybe the rocket launch later shakes the tape loose.
Maybe.
Like under high heat, it duresses.
Quite possible.
Or like the high speed chase they go on.
And they just can't afford good tape. And it just loses its stick. It has a very low stick half-life.
They've had it for about 10 years.
Yeah.
It's that tape, that roll of tape that's just been sitting in the drawer for who knows how long, and Sid just found it. Who knows how long,
yeah. The adhesive's now bubbling white, and you're like, how did that happen? You're like, oh, well, I guess it still sticks.
Yeah.
Hey, he's resourceful. He uses what he has.
But going back to like kind of the design of Sid's backyard, I think in the audio commentary they talked about how they envisioned like Sid's dad as like the kind of person who would just like start a lot of like home improvement projects in the backyard and then never finish them. Like he's like dug that trench where he apparently was going to put in looks like a sprinkler system. There's all kinds of, he's
putting a French drain in or something in his backyard.
Yeah, there's all kinds of weird stuff like that. Which is why the backyard is such a mess.
I really feel like they just don't care. Like they've tried to tame Sid, and maybe after a couple of years, they've just let it go, and they're like, we can't do anything, so that's why they just let him do everything that he does.
They can't control him.
They can't control him, so they've already been defeated. That's why the dad has an alcohol problem, and that's why the mom just feeds him Pop-Tarts. She's like, I ain't cooking for this kid.
That's all he gets to eat is Pop-Tarts.
That's all he gets to eat. He just lives off of sugar. You know what? That's actually kind of sad.
It is sad. Sid's a tragic character.
He is. Oh gosh, poor child.
Yeah.
And so after Woody runs over and drops out, then we get the whole like grill scene. Then we get the whole barbecued Woody scene. Yeah.
So shall we move on?
Let's do it. Yes. Yeah, let's barbecue Woody.
All right. So at the 1 minute 19-second mark, Sid says, Houston, all systems are go, requesting permission to launch. Suddenly he notices Woody lying on the ground and says, "Hey, how did you get out here?" He picks Woody up and puts him on the grill and says, "Oh well, you and I can have a cookout later," and puts a match in Woody's holster. He goes back over to Buzz and says, "Houston, do we have permission to launch?" Roger, permission granted. You are confirmed at T-minus 10 seconds. He lights the match and starts the countdown while the last few toys get into position. And counting. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But before he can light the fuse, he hears Woody's voice box saying, "Reach for the sky." He looks over at Woody in confusion and says, "Huh?" And that's where these 2 minutes end.
Such a cliffhanger.
I love how clean like the clip ends.
Yeah, I know. It's a great. I think it's so funny that we like it's this great moment of like foreshadowing that the match gets stuck in Woody's empty holster. Woody's holster's been empty the entire movie, right?
Yes.
And like if you're a kid, you're like, oh, an accessory needs to go in there. I always thought that, like Woody's just marketed without a gun, which is cool, which is fine. I don't need Woody to have a firearm, but there's always been that empty holster. And so that moment becomes like it's been there for a reason the whole time, It was this great revelation. Oh, Woody now has an accessory, finally,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, there's all kinds of fan theories online about like why Woody doesn't have a gun. I mean, I think the actual reason is just for the scene to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that Woody's a well-loved character, and it's a blessing that he has his hat.
Yes.
As an original accessory. And that's only because of Woody's determination as a sentient toy to keep his stuff together, like to keep it all together. Woody's mission is a narcissistic journey of making sure he's well dressed at all times. And so I think the accessory is like just well lost. It's just lost. I just think it's, which is so interesting that in Toy Story 2 we don't see him. I wonder if that's ever commented on. I have to watch Toy Story 2 again. If Al talks about it, about him missing his gun.
I don't think he does.
He doesn't. I think he just mentions the hat because, like, at first, I think Woody's hat like dropped onto the table or something. So he's like, "Oh, if only you had your hat," and then he sees it there and he gets all excited.
Right. And also in the Woody's Roundup show, does he have a gun? Or is it empty there too? Because if they just marketed him without a gun, even in the movie, that's probably why he doesn't have anything in his holster.
Well, he's the rootin'est, shootin'est cowboy in the whole Wild Wild West, so he's got to have a pistol. That's
true. Maybe I can pull it up on Disney Plus
now,
real quick.
While you're Googling that, the real question is, are these strike anywhere matches, or do we need to strike them on the box? Like the fact, like the box of matches has absolutely no information on it, just as flammable with like a light. But like matches don't work like you just can't light a match off of anything.
Right. I know, because I've tried. But
right. Is there some trick to light a match on anything that I don't know? I thought you needed like a certain kind of like
you have
aggravated
to have like an abrasive surface.
Yeah, you need to have an abrasive surface, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's not even just sandpaper. It's got to be a certain kind of sandpaper, right?
Right.
Like a certain kind of surface to light the spark.
More than likely, it would be the strike anywhere matches because he's striking it on the ground, and I've tried doing that and it doesn't work. At least not with the ones that aren't strike anywhere.
And also, yeah. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. It doesn't work. I mean, but that's another 2 minutes. You guys can talk about that later. Also, what's his name? Stompy, the thick arms with the car.
Oh,
Pump Boy.
Pump Boy wanders into the sandbox and like starts whispering to like one of the toys that's upside down in the sandbox. Did we need to bring that toy into the plan? I think we had enough chaos going on. Like,
not just that. He's been silent this whole time, and he's whispering it to somebody. I'm like, hey.
That's true.
That's my God, you're right. Pump Boy's whispering. What is he whispering? Wait, they can all talk? They've all been able to talk this whole time?
This whole time, but they didn't give it to us. They just had to show it. Like, oh, look, we're not going to let them talk for y'all.
Massive inconsistency. Inconsistency here.
Okay, so I'm looking at the Woody's Roundup scene in Toy Story 2. I can't find a super great shot with his holster, but it doesn't look like there's anything in there.
Okay.
Doesn't have a gun. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh. Also, the metal pole that all the toys are hiding behind, that's a little like rusty.
Yes.
The texture of that pole, man, is so unsettling. Do not watch that on a big screen. Like it's all like peely and like flaky and like bumpy. Ugh. Oh my gosh, like all the distress of his backyard, like I can feel like emotionally it like hurts me.
It's a grody backyard. Yeah,
it's very, and all the leaves are all brown. It's like the leaves all look like the kind of lettuce you see that you just would never eat. You know what I mean? You see lettuce that looks like that, you're just like, oh, it's gone. This whole thing's ruined. But his whole backyard looks like brown lettuce. Oh, it's so
They used all of like the nastiest textures, just I guess to imply that he's the antagonist, or like antagonists have ugly textures. So
yes,
for sure,
yeah.
You know,
He's not just bad, he was textured bad.
Yeah. I know, and the part too, what always made me mad as a child is when he's holding Woody and Woody's talking to him and they show Sid's face and all of his teeth, the way they look. I always hated the way his teeth looked. I was so angry at that.
Oh, Sid's teeth are really janky. They're so, he's definitely, he's got braces.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, my God, you know, but like, he's just such a punchable face.
He does have a punchable face.
Yeah, he's got such a punchable face. Not a lot. It's so interesting because not a lot happens in these 2 minutes. Like where it's like one of those things where like it's like a 2 minutes where we're setting up another big action sequence, because like it's 2 minutes of action, 2 minutes. It's like almost like 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off. You probably have seen that pretty regularly. The plot just is as this. It's like a roller coaster where the action rises and then the action falls, and action rises and falls. And so this is definitely one of those things where we're at the apex of an action sequence that's about to the action's about to fall. We're about to have something happen.
Yeah, we're building up to that.
We're setting up for, you know, and again, I really just can't get over the fart catcher.
Man.
Now that's always going to stay in my head every time I watch the movie. Now I'm going to be like, there it is.
There's the fart catcher.
Yes.
Yeah, the fart catcher. Yeah, this 2 minutes is just cursed. We start with Sid's awful mom's portrait, and then we end with the fart catcher. This is 2 minutes of Toy Story I never need to watch ever again. I just realized that Sid's mailbox is a tire full of cement with chains that are all welded together to make it stand upright. This house is a disaster. But the front yard does not, if you look at 6 seconds in, you can see his mailbox. The front yard of this house does not match the backyard of this house. That's the biggest takeaway from these 2 minutes, is that there is some weirdness going on with this neighborhood. It's like the Stepford. It's like the Stepford neighborhood, like where everything's perfect on the front, and then on the back, maybe they just have a really good HOA.
Maybe. I feel like this house was transplanted from like West Side San Antonio, and then they just like moved the house into a nice neighborhood.
Yeah, right. This house, the narrative of this awful house just does not work. But you know, there's always that one house.
Yeah, it's pretty janky.
It's a real janky house.
I don't know if either of you have ever played the PlayStation game Toy Story Racer, but there is a racetrack on there. It's basically Mario Kart, but like with Toy Story characters. And there's a racetrack on there that's based off of Sid's backyard, and it's probably my least favorite track in the game because it's so frustrating, because it's so easy to get caught in the like the trench thing.
Oh gosh.
And if you get caught in there, there's no getting out. You have to restart the game.
Oh man, not Sid's trench.
Oh gosh. I'm like, please never refer to it as Sid's trench ever again.
That's what he's got, though. He's got a weird French drain going on in the backyard.
Oh gosh.
What a weird, troubled youth.
I know.
Poor kid.
He's got so many problems.
So many problems. Too many problems. But thanks for letting me do another 2 minutes with you guys.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Another fun 2 minutes of terrifying toys.
Yes, as always.
Yes.
So, since we are at the end of our little clip here, what is the history with Toy Story that you have? Like, when did you get into Toy Story and how old were you? And just fun little tidbits about yourself and Toy Story.
Oh, I was when Toy Story came out. Toy Story is 1991, right? No, 1994.
95.
95.
95. Toy Story's 95. Yeah. So I was just, I was a youngin, and I watched it just like everybody did. My gosh, we all talked about it. We all watched it. We were all fascinated by the new step in. I just vividly remember just the conversation being about how it's an animated movie made by computers instead of because before this movie, I'm young enough, I'm old enough to, I should say, I'm old enough to have grown up with only cartoons, like hand animated cartoons. So to have something computer animated was really wild. It was really amazing. And then it kind of kicked off this like renaissance in storytelling and filmmaking for families and for kids that was nuanced and fun because it really, Toy Story opens up the door to like say to people, you can have a movie that has humor for all audiences and be fun for audiences, but not be but still be safe for kids and be a movie for kids. Because like there's so much stuff going, like we're playing with matches, we're implying like poverty, like we're playing with some very heavy themes, specifically with Sid. But it's so interesting that it's presented in such a way that's so soft and kind of justifies this movie's crazy. This movie's it was groundbreaking and has broken my brain and is just and then of course just made me suspicious with my toys for at least a decade. I was always just like,
sure.
Hey, let's go. But to be honest, at this point of my life, I was still very much in love with Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles. So,
very good choices.
Yeah. So, I mean, this was just an awesome movie, but it really kicked off me loving and seeing every Pixar movie. Like, just became a staple. Like, you had to see a Pixar movie.
Very good. Well, out of the 4 Toy Stories, which one's your favorite?
Toy Story. I don't know. They're all equivalent, I guess, in my mind. They all. Toy Story 4 is really fun. I really enjoy Toy Story 4 a lot. I like Toy Story. I'm gonna say Toy Story 4. We'll go with 4.
You're the first person ever to say that, because everybody else that we've had on here, they're like, I hate Toy Story 4.
They hate Toy Story 4 because it makes them confront unprocessed emotions that they're not comfortable doing. Because as a society, we like to avoid our emotions and kind of drown them out instead of facing them and dealing with them head on. And Toy Story 4 is very much a film that forces you to confront several emotions that people normally do not like to do.
Right, yeah. You're going to get a lot of emails.
Hey, email me. Find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Yell at me. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong that you're not emotionally regulated enough to enjoy Toy Story 4.
Oh, gosh. Well, thank you so much for being on our podcast.
I appreciate it. You two are great.
Is there anything you want to plug?
I think we forgot to ask you that in the last episode.
I'm just Disney Dad on YouTube. If you're hearing this, you probably know who I am.
You've got some Toy Story related videos too that people
I do have some Toy
enjoy.
Story related video. Yeah, I have a deep dive on Buzz Lightyear, on Woody, on the Little Green Men, on the Toy Story musical that happened on the cruise. I've got lots of Toy Story content that I've dug into, and more to come. There's a wealth of Toy Story presence in the parks that has been both good and horrifying. So
yes.
Lots to talk about.
They just opened that new hotel, didn't they?
The hotel looks beautiful.
Tokyo?
Really looks beautiful. Yep, in Tokyo, yeah.
One day I'll go.
Yes. Well, thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It was amazing.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yes. All right.
Do you have a sign off? Do you have like an official way to end?
I do. Let me
yeah.
read it to you.
We have our little spiel.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Be sure to follow our Facebook and Twitter accounts and send us an email if you have any thoughts, comments, questions, or concerns. And if you enjoyed the podcast, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Amazing.